Welcome back to the Lost Millennial people. I have taken, I think, 3 weeks off from putting out any content on this channel. So one thing I have always prided myself in is my ability to just be real. So I noticed that I started censoring myself and I started like behaving in a way that I feel is starting to deviate from who I am truly, and I didn't like that. So I needed to just detach myself and take a step back so that I don't continue doing something where I feel like I'm not really being genuine. You get what I mean? I don't want to be sitting here and like just even faking wanting to do it or be here. You know, it's really as simple as that. So I hope you all understand. And I think one thing that I really need to do, or one thing that I really need to try to do, is just let it be. As much as I can. I can't lie and say that I don't care about how people are gonna react to my videos, but at the same time I also have to learn how to develop a thicker skin so that I'm able to continue to do this and get to a point where I'm just comfortable after like doing it long enough and knowing that, you know what, these are things that are gonna happen and I will have to put up with it. Let's do DPR Ian because I'm feeling it. So we have 4 videos today to go through. I have never seen these videos before. I have never heard of these songs before. So let's start with No Blueberries, DPR Ian featuring DPR Live and CL. I wonder what this is gonna be about.
What's wrong with me? Why do you keep doing this? What? Stop.
So this is from like 3 years ago, right?
And I'm not sure whether if he's adopted like his sort of like I call it recent aesthetics, because I think those sort of like aesthetics of like heaven and hell and all those sort of like different realms that DPR Ian uses like in his videos now are developed after a certain point of time, and I'm not sure whether if this has passed that. So it's pretty cool to see. And it feels like it hasn't.
Thank you.
Okay, so the switch has happened. He is in another realm. Yup, he is in another realm.
I like no blueberries in my ice cream cake. No air to breathe with that masking tape. Stop me. I need a house
Yep.
free. I need a rocket ship. I need to run from it. I like no blueberries in my ice cream cake. No air to breathe with that masking tape.
Stop me. I I need a hostage free. I need a rocket ship. I need to run from you. I'm just kinda lost from you. I've been looking down a lot from you. I'm falling way too soft from you. Now tell me when to stop.
Oh, oh, here we go again to this beat. Oh, oh, tell me why you wanna be so sweet. Tell me what's in your eyes, baby. Red, green, or blue.
Welcome to the other side.
I keep losing my temper for you. I love it how you think I'm always this cold. Excuse me more, I think I'm just a fool. Tell me what's in your eyes, baby. Red, green, or blue.
Welcome to the other side.
I like no blueberries in my ice cream cake. No air to breathe with that masking tape.
Stop, please.
Is this when I mean, like, with the concept of the other side, right? Has this always been the case right from the beginning? Because I'm really curious about it. Like, I feel a little bit stupid now because I said that. I mean, like, obviously I don't know when that point in time is where these concepts are introduced, but and me making this statement as well is really premature. But I feel like if this was the video that DPR Ian uses to introduce that concept of, like, the concept of the other side, I feel like it's done really well, because I'm gonna continue after.
I need a hostage free. I need a rocket ship. I need to run from you. I'm just kinda lost from you. I've been looking down a lot from you. I'm falling way too soft from you. Now tell me when to stop.
Your motto, pass me the tea. Good old, don't make me shoot. Scene full of rappers, jump with the motto, so we need to go. Drop to the floor. 움직여 we blow. 어쩌겠어, I'm stylish, she's the way we
I'm a vibe revealing me, I'm more, yeah, oh, she knows it. She's in love with me, and that's a drug and dangerous doses.
In love with your poses. Can't see straight, can't focus. Get chills when I see your old face, you the coldest.
I like no blueberries in my ice cream cake. No air to breathe with that masking tape.
Stop, please. I need a hostage free. I need a rocket ship. I need to run from you. I'm just kinda lost from you. I've been looking down a lot from you. I'm falling way too soft from you. Now tell me when to stop.
So now you've blown all your covers. I got this blue to make you come up.
See, like, that lyric itself, right? I mean, like, this the entire song, I feel like lyrically it tells that story of, and it's sort of like shedding light on the BPD and DID that DPR Ian goes through, albeit not so in our faces, because anyone who has no context about it wouldn't directly get that it's about BPD or DID, but you can definitely sort of like sense the direction that it's going, and like all the sort of like signified sort of like this all the signified sort of like all the signified like stimuli, like the visuals, the audio, the lyrics themselves, it's all pointing in that direction.
So when you think it's almost over, I got this blue to make you come up. So now you've blown all your covers. I got this blue to make you come up. So when you think it's almost over, I got this blue to make you come up.
Alright, so I think that, like I said again, I don't know the exact point in time that those concepts are introduced.
But I think that this would be a really good video. This is a very good video to introduce those concepts. And I say that for multiple reasons, right? So first of all, I feel like the introduction to the entire music video sets a really good tone and like distinction between the world like like the usual world that was depicted in the diner before that switch happens, right? And when that switch happens, you can immediately tell that he has gone to a different universe or a different dimension, whatever term you want to use for it. I use universe, right? It's gone into a different universe, and it's very obvious that it's almost like a hellish one, because you have the creatures with the really scary faces, and you know, like from the lyrics itself as well, right? I think that from what I have sort of like highlighted earlier, and what he's saying, like, if you think that, you know, I don't remember the exact lyrics, but what I got from the entire thing is that he's saying that if you think that I'm like normal, then maybe, like, you know, like I'm the fool, like, because I'm not really like conveying it to you properly, like I'm not. Yeah, just everything. And I don't know, I just feel like this would be a really good video to introduce like his like the other world. And I mean, like, I think he made it pretty explicit as well, like welcome to the other side, you know, in the lyrics. So yeah, so anyway, it's a really beautiful song. I mean, like, sonically, auditorily, I think that it's pretty standard of the other DPR Ian tunes that I've heard of. But in the wider context of K-pop, this definitely sounds very different to everything that's like out there at the time, and even right now. So let's go to So Beautiful.
Before I change again, remind me of the time when I still remembered. I fulfill a comment.
Yo, this is sinister. I really like the guitar here. It sounds really distorted. And the whistling. What the fuck? He looks really like that screaming sex.
Now come on, you know I just can't confuse. Got your funky love story. I love it when the skies can't see.
See, this is the thing that I really like about DPR Ian's style, is that you get like these really like hyper masculine, sexualized sort of like body imageries from him. So like it screams sex, right? And the video is just progressing so beautifully, because it goes from that to him just like dancing so like in such a with such a lithe form, and it's so fluid and it's so like artistic. It's just like really mind-boggling. And then like just his image in general, he has like this really pretty face that people like I would consider handsome as well. So it's like really like the best of both worlds. Beautiful and handsome at the same time. And then you get that face. And then like you put like all these sort of like bad boy-ish sort of like tattoos and like with the eye and everything. It's like sickening. Like sickening in a good way. I just want to like slap him. It's like so fucking like gorgeous. Like stop.
Let's take a trip down a dark place, baby. Look for me now, I'm not that crazy. Let's talk about what makes you happy, 'cause I know I'm calling for you. Come get your funky love story. I love it when the skies can't sleep. I left a message encased in me. So bye-bye.
Fucking Twilight. Like the imageries that he is associating himself with are all so beautiful, and they all have like a sense of, I guess, sort of like mystique around them, sense of like unknown, sense of like mystery, sense of like allure, I would say. Like even the treatment of this music video, like the color tone that they've applied to this, right? Or the filter, it's like lo-fi. It's literally like a filter, and like the specific ones that they've chosen as well are like filters and color tones that are so like lo-fi and like dreamy. It's really dreamlike. You get what I mean? And so I feel like in the aesthetics department, they have hit like every single mark. And if you listen to the music as well, if you listen to it like sonically, like auditorily, like his sort of like vocals, the stylist, like the stylistics of his vocals are really almost like they're really charming. It's really enchanting, and it's really it's really dreamy, you know, like the slurs and the high notes and like the instrumentals as well. The instrumentals though have a little bit, they definitely have like a dark undertone for sure. So it just adds like to this whole like sort of like mystery. And now you get the saxophone, you get jazz, right? And jazz is so sensual. So sensual.
Come get your funky love story. I love it when the skies can't sleep. I left a message encased in me. So bye-bye, flawless ending. Come get your funky love story. I love it when the skies can't sleep. I left a message encased in me. So bye-bye.
And this whole fucking highway is so like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like this sort of like childhood cartoon that I don't know whether if you, I think a lot of you probably would have seen it. It's called Fern Tree Gully, right? And like, I used to live in Australia, so this looks like one of those country highways or roads in like sort of like regional or country Australia, and like the air is so fucking crisp and fresh, right? And it's dawn or dusk. Right now it looks like dawn. I don't know. It looks like dawn to me, and it's just like you smell like the flora around you, like trees and everything. It's like so freaking fresh. And like, if you've never been to the Australian countryside when it is cold, oh my god, it's like a totally different world. Like the vibe of this, it's really like Fern Tree Gully, like it's just rain. Oh my god. Mother. Oh my god. See, he gives like a very similar vibe to like, do you guys see this video over here? This is from Years and Years. He's Australian as well. Okay, so I feel like there's a very particular aesthetic that I associate a lot with Australian artists that DPR Ian has. He has it, right? If you guys want to like sort of like get a better grasp of the aesthetic that I'm talking about, just watch this video, Years and Years. That's the name of the artist, and the song is called King, right? It's like that type of aesthetic. It's really understated hot, I think, or I would call it like alternative hot. I don't know what the word for it is exactly, but yeah, it's that. It has a real allure just because it's so not mainstream. It's so unusual. You don't really see a lot of representations of it in the past, especially like when mainstream media is really just mainstream media, and you really have to like go and source for like your alternative representations if you want to. So like when you actually do stumble upon this, you're like, whoa, something that is so different from mainstream portrayal actually is so appealing, right? Okay, now let's do Nerves. I feel like Nerves. DC, oh my god. Like this, even like his depiction of like, okay, I don't want to say that this is intentional or anything. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's intentional because I don't want to assume. But like even this, right? Like if you compare like the traditional representation of a bad boy, it's someone who is like super confident, doesn't give a fuck. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. Light the cigarette, smoke it. And now, like with DPR Ian's representation of it, it is not that. It's like he's shivering and but it is still so fucking appealing. I need to stop talking.
heard you seem to be happy now. Hi, how you doing? Don't worry about me, cause I'm doing fine. So you came around my house and you left your marks with your fingertips. I'm sitting where you sat down, and now he's looking for something meaningless. I'm getting little nervous. I'm getting to the surface. I'm getting little nervous. I'm getting to the surface. Hi, how you doing? I heard you seem to be happy now. Hi, how you doing? Don't worry about me, cause I'm doing fine. 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 Girl, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Swear it's not a lie. I'm doing fine. Girl, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
The guitar is doing it for me.
It's not a lie. I'm getting little nervous. I'm getting to the surface. I'm getting little nervous. I'm getting to the surface. Getting little nervous. Just getting to the surface. You got a little nervous of running back to you when you weren't there. And I'm sorry, I was hurting too much to know that you were standing right there. And I'm sorry, I will sing this song to you to tell you I really care. And I'm sorry, when I left you all alone, girl, I know that wasn't fair. Cause I loved you, he loved you, loved you.
I think this is probably my favorite song from so far of the 3 songs that we. In fact, I think it's probably my favorite song from TPR Ian. That guitar is. It's like. It's like. It's like the Piper, you know, the Piper, like that sort of like. The Piper children. Yeah, it's Pete Piper, who uses music like it's that like children's story. Like that guitar is like the it's like that for me. You know, like it sounds really melancholic, but also I just feel like the general rhythm of the song is so different compared to his usual. It's a lot more upbeat. It's a lot more, I don't want to say energetic or charged because there was a better word in my head earlier for it. But it's sort of like along those lines. It's melancholic for sure. But it's very like hyped, like charged at the same time, which is beautiful in my opinion. All right. So last song we're gonna check out is Scaredy Cat. Let's see how this one turns out. Like, I doubt it's gonna beat Nerves though. I feel like Nerves so far is my favorite TPR Ian song, and yeah.
The manhunt continues. Police reports discovering the horrific body. 6 years have passed by at the Devil's Diner. Railroad track. Witnesses say the suspect may be missing an eye.
So it's all like, it's actually like a continuation because like the eye, right? I actually didn't really pay. I noticed it. But I didn't really know the significance. So I guess like it serves as like a continuation. It cements that continuation between like different videos. So yeah, I don't want to. I've been like talking a lot in this video. So I'm gonna stop myself for a bit. But before I stop myself, I just want to say that like in like screenwriting, in cinema studies, in like production studies, one of the ways one of the ways that props can be significant is by using it to highlight continuation between like different scenes, different episodes, if it's a TV show, or like different sort of like media products like music videos. Yeah, so that is actually one of the significance of how of props, of how props can be used to and how it can be used to do that, right? We were taught that when we were in school. When I was in school, I took some subjects.
I think I'm scared of all the signs. Don't ever leave me alone at night. I think I'm scared, I don't know why. Just leave the lights on and close the blinds. I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. I think I'm scared, I have no time. I scream out loud just to see if I'm alive. I think I'm scared, I don't know why. So leave the lights on, I'll stay inside. Because I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. Because I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. Dial 911, I'm calling from under my bed. It's hard to breathe when you're not there. I find everything a nightmare. Sometimes I know you don't care, but I feel like I'm disappearing in a hole. And nobody will know, nobody will go. Except when I'm with you, sitting in my room alone. And nobody will know, nobody will go. Except when I'm. Why does no one understand when I say I am just afraid? Why does no one lend a hand when I say I will drift away? And there are clouds in the sky, and I'm always terrified they might just rain on me. I'm losing my mind, I think I'll be alright. Just hold my hands, you'll see. I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. I know that you think I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks. I'm scared you can. Please no more heart attacks.
All right. So I feel like this particular song doesn't vary too much from stylistically from his other sort of like usual music, in terms of both like the visuals and the audio, like similar aesthetics, like visually and auditorily as well. It pretty much stays within the same vein of like I guess composition and like instrumentals, his vocal sort of like his cadence and everything, it's similar, right? And I think that's pro as well, you know, because like when you listen to an artist, like it depends on, when you listen to an artist, right, you really go to them because they do tend to produce like a very like a certain type of sound, right? And if they do it well, you keep going back to them for like hoping to get that same type of sound that made you fall in love with them in the first place. So I think that DPR Ian did that really well. DPR Ian does his genre very well, and I don't have anything much to say aside from that, you know, with this last video. Overall, I love, again, the fact that he's one of the few artists in the K-pop scene that draws on his personal experience for his art, because I feel like that is what art should, it adds an extra layer. It adds like so much more to what art is, right? But at the end of the day, art lies in the eyes. Like art, what is art depends on the interpretation of the receiver, right? And but really, honestly though, like what art is you need all these contexts, right? Like who the artist is, what their story is about, the historical sort of like context that this was produced in, all this to create meaning surrounding a piece of artwork. And I feel like what DPR Ian has done helps with that. Whereas like I feel like what with in like an opposite instance, a lot of when music is mechanically produced and is so detached from the performer, I feel like can still be art depending on how it's received, right? But yeah, for me personally, I resonate a lot more with this. I find it easier for me to construct, to meaningfully interpret, to yeah, I find myself being able to like interpret like this with more like, so yeah, Nerves is still my favorite. Like so far I think Nerves is like my top DPR Ian song, and it's going into my playlist, not that it matters. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry that I have been away for a while. I really do appreciate, like, I know like some of you, I know that for those of you who have like reached out to me when I have been sort of like inactive and everything, I really appreciate it. Like you have no idea how much like that means to me. Like those approaches mean a lot, you know? Yeah, so thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.